This car is no longer Australia's most annoying, and it was labelled that by me in a review of it previously. It's the Deepal S07, the fully electric mid-sized SUV from the Chinese brand, which had some of the worst calibrated safety technology that I'd ever experienced in a new car. But this one has seen some significant and important updates to the software that makes it far more livable. I'm going to tell you all about it in this review, show you around it, show you inside it, and also tell you the best alternatives to it. So let's check it out, shall we? Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. I'm Matt, this is The Right Car, and this could be the right car for you now. In my previous review of this car, I thought it stacked up pretty well in terms of the value for money perspective at about $54,000 before on-road costs, but there have been drive-away deals being done on this vehicle for 50 grand or thereabouts, and I think that makes it a bit more appealing. But what certainly makes it more appealing is the changes that have been made here to the software. So it is significant. What they've done is they've made it so when you get in and out of the car, firstly, it won't necessarily say, "Hi, I'm Deepal, your friendly companion," or whatever it said.
My name is Deepal, a cute and talented little companion.
You can turn that off and it will stay off, but also they've made it so if you turn off some of the safety systems, they will stay turned off. And that's a vital consideration for this car, because previously having to get in the car and turn off all the stuff and, well, do that every single time because it was so badly calibrated. It's coming. That camera will tell you that it thinks that you're frustrated. No, it will tell you that it thinks that you are not concentrating. You will be frustrated. Now, well, the calibration is better as well, and also the safety systems, if you want them off, they will bloody well stay off. And for me, that makes this significantly better value than it was, because value is measured in different ways, not just by what you're getting, but you are still getting plenty of stuff in the Deepal S07. As standard, you get 19-inch alloy wheels. This one is on the 20-inch alloy wheel package, and that gets you better tires as well. Plus, you're getting full LED lighting around the car. There's heated and power folding side mirrors, a panoramic sunroof with an electric shade, 64 colour ambient lighting on the inside, dual zone climate control, a heated steering wheel. You've got heated and ventilated front seats, power adjustable front seats with fake leather trim inside, and you're getting things like keyless entry with proximity unlocking. There's a power tailgate. There's a 14-speaker Sony sound system, wireless phone charging, a 15.6-inch touchscreen media system, and an augmented reality head-up display. Now, there are a couple of colour options as well. This one is one of the ones that cost you extra money, but I reckon that it looks really great in this shade of orange. But let's talk about some alternatives that you might want to consider if you're thinking about spending this kind of money, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. $54,000 for a mid-size electric SUV. It's a pretty good price point, and there are some cheaper options that might appeal to you, but there's one that I think stands out if you're looking at something a bit more budget friendly but a little bit smaller as well, the MG S5 EV. It is a lovely thing to drive. It's great in terms of the dynamics. It's also spacious and comfy on the inside, practical and thoughtful, and some really user-friendly technology on offer in that MG. And if you service with MG, you can get a 10-year warranty as well. So it could be a very good option if you are watching your pennies. Another option that's about this size and similar-ish on price is the BYD Sea Lion 7. It is a interesting looking machine and certainly spacious and comfy and feeling pretty practical and also pretty plush if you spend a little more and get into the high grade version. But the entry-level one is actually really great value for money. And while it might not be the most efficient choice in terms of the energy consumption, but it is a nice thing in a lot of ways. It just makes you feel like you're driving something a bit special, and you'd want to be for $55,000 or so. Another option that is certainly worth looking at is the Xpeng G6. It starts at similar money to this. It has a couple of different versions available and up to 10 years of warranty on offer as well. It's very well equipped inside. It's got the big screen tech, and it also has some really great driver-friendly features as well. So it could definitely be worth a look if you like the look. I still think this car is an attractive take on the electric SUV theme. It is a bit Lambo-ish at the front, and it's certainly got the swoopy roofline look to it. And in this color, it just looks fantastic in my opinion. I also like these 20-inch wheels. I think they do set it off a little bit more than the standard rims. Now let's talk about the dimensions here, because it is a decent size, this car. More than 4.7 meters for a 5-seater. That's pretty large. It's on a long wheelbase to fit the battery in underneath. I'll tell you the battery specs in a sec, but first I want to show you a trick. So I've got the key in my pocket. I'll walk up to the car. See that? Doors or handles open up for me. They are a little bit quirky, those handles, but it does have proximity keyless unlocking, and that is really, really handy if you are traveling with kiddos and you need to get them all in. There you go, door's locked now, and you have your hands full. It could be very helpful, I would say. Now, let's have a look at the rear end design. Nothing's really changed here, and the boot space hasn't changed either. So let's have a look at what we're working with here. Still a very, very slow electric tailgate. And now there's a mat in there. It's not maybe to my tastes. It looks a bit AliExpress to me, but hey, what do you think about that matte finish? It's got those mats inside as well, but the boot space itself is actually pretty practical. It's a very good size for a mid-size SUV, and it has the cargo cover as you would expect. You've got some shopping bag hooks on the side, a light as well, and some tie-down points down low, and those are part of your 14-speaker Sony sound system. And underneath the boot floor, well, we're not going to find a spare, people. We do have a tyre repair kit and a safety triangle there. So no spare. I'm not sure that that's a surprise to anyone, but it's a pretty practical thing. But it's also got a secret storage compartment under the bonnet. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's actually a good amount of cargo capacity for the frunk of this vehicle. So as you can see, you can store your charging cables in there. You can even put some extra luggage as well. It is very, very thoughtful to have a frunk that big. When it comes to what meets the eye, you might not be able to pick any major differences when it comes to the interior here. And that's because a lot of it is inside this screen, hidden away. And look, you can also change the wallpapers now, which makes it a bit more personable. But I also really do think that this has been significantly improved, because see up there? Those little icons tell me that the safety systems that I switched off are staying off. And it does also mean that it's going to be less annoying to drive. I'll get to that a little bit later on, but for instance, if I go into this system here, which is the safety setup, so I can have it as integrated adaptive cruise control, so it'll judge the speed signs and adjust the speed for me when I'm on cruise. Turn that off and it stays off. Lane change, off. Lane departure, off. You've also got different levels of AEB consideration, and it just makes it so much more livable and likable. And well, you've even still got the quick controls. If you do want to quickly jump into your vehicle settings, you can turn things back on if you do want to. But see, they haven't turned themselves back on when I've got in and out of the car. It just makes it more livable, people. I'm telling you, if you want to set up a car how it should be, in my opinion, then you can do that with this car now, and you couldn't before. And look, a lot of the same stuff exists on this screen. So you do have lots of controls on screen, including wipers. Look, they're auto wipers, so you don't ever really need to worry about it. You can adjust the sunshade from there if you want to as well. So if you want to do it on the screen, you can. You don't have to though. There are buttons up here, and you've also got a tailgate opening button there as well. Plenty of other little controls on screen, so you can adjust your side mirrors on the screen. There are no controls down here for such. And speaking of which, you've got your door popping button there. So rather than a door handle, it's a button. And your window switches, well, they're still the wrong way around. So if I pull back, back should be down. Back is up in this instance. So as you can see, that's forwards and the window goes down. Back to front. So that's still something that could be fixed, but I do think that, well, you can see the ambient light, configurable ambient light adds a bit of wow factor to the cabin, but it is, well, again, something that you'll just need to get used to in terms of the tech and the way that this car works. But it's significantly better than it was before. You've still got controls on here for your climate stuff, including your ventilation and heating for the seats. And you can use voice control if you wish instead. Now, as I said, there's lots and lots of different menus and controls here. There's a couple of quick ones on the screen here that you can get to if you wish. It does have sat nav as well, so I mean, it's a pretty good sat nav setup by the feel of things. Quick to react, and you do have a charging capability there, so it can tell you where your nearest EV chargers are. I like that about it. And also you've got quick buttons down here, so you've got a rear wiper switch, your boot button there, and volume here as well, because there is no volume dial or knob. So back to the home screen, and you've got these controls here if you do want to quickly jump into certain things like your 360 view camera system, and you've also got a button up here for dash cam. So okay, I disagree. I don't want to give it microphone permission. Now here you'll see your views around the car from the different cameras. So it's got a G meter in there, and if you're involved in a crash, it can even save a data packet of what's happened, how many airbags have been deployed, and so forth. And they're working on making it be able to communicate that to emergency services as well. So it's all very, very good in terms of the way that the systems are designed to work. And there's also a little camera up here. Now, it's not monitoring the interior of the car, but you can get it to do selfies if you wish, for whatever reason. Now, the other elements of this cabin haven't changed. So you've still got vents down here that you have to adjust the direction of using the screen, which I don't necessarily love, but hey, it's a bit Tesla-ish like that. Your fan controls are still on screen. There's no knobs and dials, as I've said. So there are still some things that I think could be better, but you've got a wireless phone charger there and a second spot for another phone if you are okay with it not charging. Pair of cup holders. You've got a decent sized center console bin with an openable vent as well, so you can keep things temperate in there. You've got a decent center storage area underneath that bridge section with USB ports as well. The seats are relatively comfy, I've got to say, and while this is nowhere near convincing in terms of leatherness, this vinyl is pretty good, I've got to say. I like the stitch pattern on the doors. I like the orange stitching as well, which sort of runs as a theme throughout the cabin, and it does all look and feel pretty good, I've got to say. And this screen tilts towards you when you hop into the driver's seat. Now, some of the controls on the steering wheel might take a little learning. So you've got your cruise controls on this side, you've got some media controls here, and you've also got your gear selector there, and you push down to put it into your cruise control system. And here you've got another stalk with blinkers and high beam lights and washer for your windscreen wipers, because they're auto wipers, as I said. Above, you've got flip down mirror covers, so that should stop you from doing your makeup while you're driving. And these, they don't pull out and slide. So the visors are okay, I would say. They don't have a little hook for a parking ticket or anything like that. And you've got an auto dimming rear vision mirror as standard as well. SOS call button up there, because it does have connected services, and you can connect up to an app on your phone if you wish. Yep, so there's the app, and it will allow you a fair bit of control in terms of keeping an eye on the cabin temperature, adjusting things. You can put your windows down, you can open the boot, you can put the lights on, all sorts of stuff. It's actually a pretty good app in terms of the usability in my experience so far. But yeah, it's not bad at all in terms of the experience in here. So let's check out the back seat and see what the space is like. All right, so this seat is set for my driving position. I'm about 6 foot tall, and I've got a good amount of leg room, reasonable foot space as well, and headroom back here is pretty good too, despite the big glass roof. You've got some grab handles there with little lights too, and I mean, it's only missing like a coat hook. There's not one of those. On the doors, you'll see you've got the soft finish, the ambient light, the woodish trim, and the buttons for the door opening. Bottle holders, you got map pockets as well, and down here there's just one directional air vent. That's probably the biggest letdown about the backseat experience. You'll also see there that you do have some controls here. So you can move the passenger seat forward from the back if you just want a bit more space. It's a bit back to front because obviously in China the passenger sits on that side, and you've also got shade controls. So if you want to, as a backseat occupant, you can put the shade forward a little bit, and that makes a difference to the backseat experience, I would say. The space is obviously pretty positive. You do have ISOFIX points in the window seats and 3 top tethers, and you've got a flip down section as well with cup holders and a little storage tray, and it does make a very nice armrest. So if you're thinking about this as a 4-seater rather than a 5-seater, it's a pretty impressive thing, although it is a flat floor, so it will actually make a pretty decent experience for a 5-seat family car. It's roomy, it's spacious, and the seat is pretty comfy too. In Australia, the Deepal S07 is exclusively a rear-wheel drive electric vehicle. So it's got a single electric motor at the rear axle with 160 kilowatts, 320 newton meters of torque, and a single-speed transmission. As I said, rear-wheel drive only. It can do 0 to 100 in 7.9 seconds. Now that is pretty slow for an EV, but it does have a fair bit of sprightliness to it, which I'll show you later on. It is more than 2 tons, which is maybe not the lightest for its class, but it's also a full electric car with a pretty big battery. In fact, let's talk about the battery specs now. The Deepal S07 comes with an almost 80 kilowatt hour NMC battery pack, and it's good for a claimed EV driving range on the WLTP cycle of 475 Ks. You might even be able to get more than that if you stick with the standard wheel and tyre package and you drive gently. Now, charging, your charge port is on the passenger side rear of the car, so good for street parkers. AC at a maximum charging rate of 11 kilowatts, and that should mean about 8 hours to recharge, which is pretty good actually. DC, not as good. It's under 100 kilowatts for your rapid charging capability. So while you might be able to do the 30 to 80% charge pretty quickly, it's certainly not a benchmark setter in terms of the DC charging rates. But I still think that if you're the sort of person who realistically is only going to use AC as a priority, well, maybe it will still do the job, but you've still got road trip potential with it. All right, let's go drive it and I'll tell you what it's like now, because it's way better than it was. Ah, what a relief, what a relief. This car, it went from being a zero to being a hero. I know that might sound a little bit trite, but honestly, the changes that have been made to the software have made this car better than acceptable. In fact, it's enjoyable in some ways compared to what it was, especially compared to what it was, because, well, in the previous one, the chiming was incessant. It got so much wrong when it came to the safety technology implementation. But in this car, well, you can turn it off and it'll stay off. So if you don't like the way that it behaves, and it has been tuned to be better anyway, but if you don't like how it is, you can turn it off and it'll stay off. And I love that, because it means that you can basically tailor it to what you like, not what you're told to like, which so many car brands seem to be struggling with right now. This is so much more worthy of your attention in this current setup than it was early on. I was actually kind of dreading that they might not have done enough with the safety tech, but I've got to say, yep, they've nailed it. They've absolutely nailed what they needed to do with this car. So congratulations to the team at Deepal in Australia, because they have really tailored it to be suitable for our market, because it wasn't before, in my opinion. Now, let's talk about the other elements of the drive experience, because we're not distracted by shitful technology. So it's actually pretty good. Like I said in my previous review, that they just needed to find the goodness in this car. It wasn't evident because there was so much distracting technology that was making it seem like a really bad car. But the underpinnings here, I mean, it's not the best. It's not the benchmark setter in the electric car segment, but it is certainly decent in terms of the drivability, the ride comfort, and the overall experience. So it is a rear-wheel drive single motor electric car, so it does have a bit of pep to it, and it does also have that rear-wheel drive dynamism to it. It's not like super duper fun, but the way that it handles itself around corners is okay, and the steering is also not too bad. It's not world changing in terms of the way that it changes direction or anything. It does still have a bit of a numbness and a bit of a hefty feel as well, but I think it's decent, thoroughly decent. And then there's the ride comfort, because it's on the 20-inch wheels with the low profile tires. It maybe is a little bit terser feeling than you might appreciate. If you go for the standard wheel and tire package, it might be a little bit cushier, because they do have higher profile tires, but I think it's okay. It's okay. And again, I'm not saying it's the best car in the class. I am saying that it's better than it was and far more competitive in the class now. The powertrain, it's not the most powerful. As I said, it's sort of lower on the output scale compared to some of the others out there, but you do get a good amount of response. Like, it is fast when you put your foot down. It's not mind-blowing, but it's fast. So yeah, I think you'll be surprised by the performance and surprised by the overall drivability of this car. Now, the braking is maybe the only thing that I haven't really gelled with all that much with the overall experience here. So there is a multiple mode regen braking system, including a customizable brake mode, which you can set to 100%, but it won't do coming to a full stop for you. So it's not single pedal driving per se, and the brake pedal feel is just a little bit strange underfoot, but over time, you'll get used to it. I have over my time testing this car. I think it's acceptable. And I think that sums up my feelings about the updated version of this SUV. In fact, it's better than acceptable. It's far more likable than it was. There are a couple of little software things that I will call out. So if you're in reverse and you want to try and turn on the demister, then the camera's active, well, you can't actually use the demister button. It locks the screen, basically. And on the topic of the ventilation settings, they won't remember what you had before. So they've done a really good job of getting the memory stuff right for the safety systems, but it doesn't allow you to basically remember that your seat heater was on, or the steering wheel heating was on, or the demister was on, or recirc was on. So yeah, some little improvements beyond what has already been done for the software stuff could make it even better. All right, let's talk energy consumption. The official number for the WLTP rated kilowatt hours is 18.6 kilowatt hours per 100 Ks. Just like petrol, the lower the number, the better. That is pretty good for a single motor electric SUV like this. And in fact, during my testing of this car, which has been urban, highway, freeway, stop-start, errand running, the same sort of stuff you'll probably do in your family electric SUV, well, the car's told me that I've got a lower figure than the claim. In fact, in the 17s is what it's been hovering at, and that is very impressive for a vehicle like this. So, I mean, maybe it's optimistic. I haven't had the opportunity to do a full empty to full charge, but if you can get near that, you will get a pretty good amount of EV driving range from a fill. I'll put the maths on your screen so you can see what you could potentially, predictably see if you can achieve that kind of actual consumption. The Deepal S07 has a maximum 5-star ANCAP safety rating from 2024, and how good's this? The changes that have been made to the safety systems in this car do not affect that rating. So the fact that you can turn the systems off and they will stay off when you turn them off has meant that, well, you're getting a better car that still ticks the box in terms of the safety stuff. Now, the things that you can turn off include your lane keeping assistance, and it will stay off, your driver monitoring camera system, and it will stay off, and also your speed sign recognition system, and it will stay off too. And they will stay off until you turn them back on. So you don't have to turn the things off that you don't like every time you get into the car, and it makes it just so much more livable. Hats off to the people at Deepal, not literally because that's my trademark, but I do think that they've done a fantastic job. Like, fantastic in terms of making these changes and making this a more likable car. Now, let's talk about what you are actually getting in terms of the safety gear. So you've got autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian and cyclist detection. There's adaptive cruise control. There's advanced cruise control with lane keeping, so it can do stop, start, and steer for you. You've got lane keeping assistance. Again, you can switch it off. The driver monitoring camera, the speed sign recognition, off, off. And also you've got blind spot monitoring with a blind spot camera system. There's a built-in dash cam system. You've also got a surround view camera system, front and rear parking sensors, and plenty more besides that, including rear cross traffic alert. Plus, you've got plenty of airbags fitted to this car, dual front, front side, front center, and curtain coverage. So from a safety perspective, they've done the safest thing possible. Make it not give you the shits. In Australia, Deepal offers a 7-year, 160,000 kilometre warranty for private buyers. If you're a commercial buyer, so if you're thinking of buying this car for ride share or for delivery or whatever, just keep in mind, the warranty is 1 year or 120,000 Ks. So yeah, that's not ideal. Now, in terms of the battery warranty, it's 8 years and 240,000 Ks. So much, much more than lots of the other battery warranties out there in the EV segment. And there's also some powertrain warranty that you need to consider as well for specific parts. I'll put the details on your screen now. Service intervals, well, they're better than what they originally launched with at 12 months and 20,000 Ks per service. There's a cap price servicing plan, and I'll put the average service cost over that period on your screen now. You get 12 months of free roadside assist included, and you have to pay extra each time you want to top it up. As I said in my previous review of the Deepal S07, there is a good SUV here, they just had to find it. And with the software changes they've made, they have found it. This is far more convincing than it was. It's much more livable and likable than before. And I honestly think if you're in the market for a mid-size SUV and you like the look of this one, it's well worth a test drive. Tell me what you think about it. Would you pay as much as they're asking? Have your say in the comments. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and ring the bell. And I'll see you when I see you.